So today in this video, I want to talk about a concept that's going to change your life, help you level up, and actually finally become a way better, more consistent, and more confident day trader. I want to break down principles. See, a lot of traders trade each and every single day with a bunch of fear, a bunch of anxiety, and a bunch of doubt. They're not following principles. What are principles and how do they help us become better traders? So I got very educated on principles because I was fascinated by the Bible in the past, right? I was fascinated at how the world worked. I was fascinated at the fact that you could sow a seed and soon after that seed becomes a harvest each and every single time. You don't have to pray about it, right? You don't have to make it work. There's nothing you need to do other than putting the seed in the ground and putting water on it. That's a principle. I was fascinated by the fact that gravity works in every single part of the world. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter where you live. If you're in Tokyo and you jump off a building, you're going to plummet to the floor and die. If you're in Italy and you jump off a building, same exact output, input, output, right? I was fascinated by these things. Doesn't matter what color skin you are, doesn't matter how you talk, doesn't matter how you walk, doesn't matter how smart you are. There's certain universal principles that apply in every single scenario. So the reason why this helps us as traders, right, is because so many traders lack understanding of principles, they lack objectivity, and they lack having a system. Let's go back to input versus output, right? We're going to reference Newton here. If your input is inconsistent, your output will be inconsistent. This means if your approach is inconsistent, if you're approaching the market with inconsistent tendencies, inconsistent behaviors, inconsistent chart patterns, inconsistent ways of understanding who's in control of the market, you're going to get inconsistent results. That was my biggest issue for the longest time. I couldn't stick to one approach. I was constantly trying to trade. I was constantly trying to change based on what I thought was going to happen. I was trying to predict. But what's crazy is if you can learn to understand principles, you'll be able to have way better predictions, right? Because you'll no longer be predicting. You'll be reacting to the principle. You drop the seed into the ground, you pour some water on it, you can start to expect that that seed's going to harvest. The market is the same way. There's principles. Once again, if you're on top of that building, you're probably not going to jump off it. Why? Because you could expect that you're going to die. See, the market is the same exact thing. There's fundamental truths and principles that govern price. These are predictable. If we can learn to see these, understand these, build systems off of these principles, my friend, you then have an amazing approach. So before we dive into it, I just want to do a quick, I just want to point this out here. This is the definition of the word principle. It's a fundamental truth or proposition that serves as the foundation for a system of belief or behavior or for a chain of reasoning, right? Which means we're making decisions based off reason. We're making decisions based off systems. We're making decisions based off of belief. Right? We need to have ways to objectively read price and build our decision-making process off of them. This brings me to my next topic, my next concept, the pit numbers. Right? So the day we are going to be talking about is November 5th, 2024. Right? And this was, once again, it was a phenomenal day, but it was very easy. And what I mean by easy is when you start to develop these principles, these approaches, these understandings, trading becomes a little more simpler because you know what to look for. Instead of looking at 8 million different charts and looking at 8 million different indicators, you're now just looking at a few things. And I'm going to give you these things today in this video, right? I'm going to show you, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to demonstrate for you the tools I use, the exercises I follow, and the principles that I watch and observe and expect, and how this helps me with my decision-making process. Right? So principle number one is objectivity. Right? Objectivity. What does objectivity even mean? Right? Because for the longest time, traders read books, they hear this word, you got to remain objective, right? And I'm not sure they actually know what it means. So, you know what? Great way to do this here is go definition of, let's start with the definition. See, this is why objective, I'm kind of a nerd, right? And I'm recommending that you become one as well. Start to Google words, right? Start to learn exactly what they mean, right? Because the goal of objectivity is to never have a bias. Biases will kill you, right? So the quality or character of being objective, this is lack of favoritism toward one side or another. Freedom from bias. I love the way they put that. It's freedom from being biased, meaning if you're biased, you're living in a prison. If you're biased, you're living in just a room of iron bars that are literally ignorance, right? You're in a prison of ignorance. You're missing out because you can only view one side. You can't understand both sides. Therefore, you are not objective. To be objective, you must view it with complete and utter understanding that either side can win, either buyers or sellers. It doesn't matter how bullish the market is, doesn't matter how bearish the market is. Doesn't matter how good something is, doesn't matter how bad something is. There's always a little bit of good and every little bit of bad. This is the law of polarity. You must understand both sides. This is a universal law, the law of polarity. You have to understand something here, is that the reason why you're not trading the way you want is because you cannot view both sides. You're becoming married to a certain scenario. And you're basing your worth off it. That was one of my biggest issues. I was constantly like, oh, the market's got to go up. It's got to go up today because I know it's going to go up. This is my conviction. This is my reasoning, right? It has to go up. Now my ego's on the line. And then I put money on the line. Then my emotions on the line. And now I'm ignorant to what's really happening, right? My brain is shielding me from the market information. It's keeping me from viewing the correct information in an objective manner, which is causing you to fail, right? So principle number one is objectivity. You need to understand both sides. This is why on the Discord every single day we run through a bullish and bearish scenario. See, let's bring it back. Input, output, right? Whatever input you have is the output you obtain, right? So High Performance Trader was founded because I needed to develop a system that was easily used and utilized so traders can follow these principles, right? These principles of relativity, these principles of polarity, right? These principles of objectivity, right? I needed traders to execute these principles in a very systematic fashion. This is why High Performance Trader is built off objectivity. It's built off bullish and bearish scenarios. It's built off being free from your bias, right? You must always be able to see both sides. It's very important. It's critical. It's crucial for you to see the market this way. Otherwise, you're going to be trading out of ignorance. And this may be why you're not obtaining consistent results. November 5th. Bullish scenario, very simple. Watching for buyers to step up and defend the 1 hour 50, along with open print for the longs targeting previous day high and potentially 57439. Notice here, I have a bullish scenario. If buyers hold the 50, I'm looking to target boom, boom. If sellers hold the 50, I'm looking to target boom, boom. This is my view, this is my approach each and every single time, right? So now if we go to SPY alerts, we'll see here, I'll show you exactly where I got in the market. This was at, no, that was not the right day. 9:50 a.m. November 5th, right? Right here, you can see this was my entry. This is what I was looking for, right? So you can see price is rallying into previous day high, and now I'm looking for a move. I'm looking to identify buyers here that have strong acceptance. Okay. So market rallies here. Now, okay, Josh, you understand objectivity. What's the next principle? Well, the next principle are your pit numbers. Right? This kind of builds more off objectivity. Pit numbers are going to help you make decisions. Pit numbers are levels on a chart that you have to watch each and every single day, and whoever can control these levels has a higher chance of controlling the day. So if I'm watching previous day high here, which is 57258, you guys see where I'm getting that, right? I'm getting it from the previous day, right? I'm just going to draw a little zone here to make it very simple, right? This is our zone. There's previous day high. I'm watching price. We've rallied above the 1 hour. Now we're coming into PDH, right? So now if buyers can hold this, I'm looking for longs targeting this guy right here. Bam. That guy, and what was it? I put in the Discord here. 57439. Okay. So now what I'm doing here is going, all right, buyers are holding the 1 hour, right? I'm using the 1 hour, I'm using the pit numbers to remain objective. Whoever can hold these levels, I'm looking to trade with. That's it. Just like the seed into the soil, we don't need to pray about it. We don't need to focus our consciousness on it. We don't need to make it happen, right? We just put the seed in and we water it. And we know 9 times out of 10, we're going to get a specific output. Input, output. What is your approach? What is your output? Sometimes you can learn your input by looking at your output. If your output is not good, that means your input is not good, right? They correlate. They're relative, right? So you learn to understand if your output isn't what it wants to be, you got to change your input. Develop a better system. Develop a better approach. More consistent, more concise, more comprehensible. Something that you understand. Something that you can articulate. And what this does is helps you execute. The better your execution, the better you're going to do each and every single time. So this is why our approach is so simple, but yet so effective. It helps us remain completely objective so that we can view market information in a way that's non-biased, right? In a way that we can actually make proper decisions off of without being ignorant, right? Our ego's not on the line, right? Our emotions, right? They're not on the line. And if they are, we're definitely not acting on them, right? Instead, we're acting on the information the market gives us, right? We're literally going long here in a supply zone at an area where sellers showed up the previous day. There's sellers here. But we're going long. Why? Josh, it's because I can understand who's in control of the pit number, who's in control of the moving average, right? And then I use my candles to get in the market with tight risk. That's exactly what we did here, right here at 9:50 a.m. when we took the market long. Red bar completely ignored, right? Price then rallies, and it was a phenomenal trade. So what are we going to take away from this lesson, right? Well, the goal here is to start approaching the market with a more understanding of how principles work, how you can utilize them, how they become predictable, how you can adjust your approach to fit a system that represents your beliefs on the market, and how you're able to utilize those beliefs, utilize those systems and understandings, and capitalize off the patterns you see. Learning to watch pit numbers, learning to use moving averages, right? Learning to execute based off objectivity, learning to look at the market information without assuming or predicting. We don't need to, we react. The market becomes a much better place when you trade this way. So I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. It was it's a very different sort of lesson, but the thing is, this may be the main reason why you're not getting consistent results right now. Right? Market psychology is a concept not many traders really dive too deep into. A lot of traders on YouTube are like, oh, you gotta just change the way you think. Well, how? How do you actually change the way you think? How do you start viewing the market information in a way that you're supposed to? Well, you have to change your beliefs. I don't know about you guys, but that's kind of hard to do, right? If I believe something, it makes sense to me, right? So to really change your beliefs, right? Because once again, if your output isn't good, that means your input's not good. If you're not getting consistent results, it's because your beliefs are not aligned. They're not making sense. They're not following predictable principles and precepts. They're erratic, they're irrational, and they're all over the place, and they're causing you to be inconsistent. So those beliefs must change. How do you change those beliefs? Through understanding, right? Through becoming free from the bias, right? You have to understand that you are not viewing market information properly, and it's costing you your dreams. So I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. If you want more videos like this, make sure you hit a like, comment, and guys, you already know if you want to join the team, and get more information about this, Trader Boot Camp is filled with it. It'll help you become a way more consistent, confident, and competent day trader, and you'll get 12 months full access to my Discord where we show up and we crush it every single day. I'll see you in the next lesson.